So I said at the beginning, one thing I'd forgot you worked on was the voiceover. This was
Yeah.
both in-game voiceover, but also the assets and promotional material too, right?
Yeah. So I think it was back in like 2013, I believe. So it was about a year. Yeah. So we launched in 2012 as a subscription service. And we were spending a lot of money across the board to make sure everything was like we were thinking like AAA, big budget, go crazy, kind of a thing. But the subscription service wasn't working out. We weren't the wow killer we thought we were, and we weren't making enough money. So we decided, hey, let's go free to play, because TERA might be more appropriate for that sort of a market. So they went free to play. They were looking to cut costs in certain areas so that the game service could still run at a good high quality, like could keep the servers up and everything like that. So part of those cutting costs is at the time we were using a really expensive studio to do all of the voiceover work for TERA, and somebody asked me, "Hey, do you know of it? Like how basically to handle voiceover?" And I said, "Well, I can look into it." And so, because this is the job. It's just, hey, if there's a need, just look into it and see if you can do it. And if you can do it, great, go for it. Or if you need help, then ask for help. Which is great because that's definitely something I learned as my skill set. It's just tackling new things without knowing exactly what I'm doing at first. Um, so I did a little research, and as it turns out, hiring a huge, like a big studio to do a ton of voiceover is super expensive, almost for no reason. Um, the quality isn't that much better that it matters too much. The majority of voiceover companies that exist out there right now all work remotely. So there's like a manager that basically helps coordinate, people who want something and connecting them with an actor who has a home studio with a professional mic, with a professional sounding booth and everything. And you just basically do a Skype call and jump into a script, and they'll run it through with them, and then run it through a number of different times, run over lines, and then they'll send you the recording, and then you can kind of put that together.
Was it
So
was it
go
a
ahead.
success right off the bat? Like just easy?
Um, yeah. Well, the thing is, the um, the portion I had to do was mostly like coordination, direction, making sure the script was in a place that was readable and sounded like natural dialogue. So that portion I kind of already knew how to do. So that was easy enough to not kind of slip up too much when I first started. But working with professional voice actors that just are in their own home and are very comfortable there is great because their voices sound so natural and they sound so powerful and interesting. And I worked with a lot of really great voiceover talent from there for a really good price as well. So that was, yeah, that was really great. It was a great experience, and we got a lot of great voiceover tracks we could put into TERA after that.
What about the internal work? You've reached out to so many people. JD Weicker did some of the VO.
Oh
Nick, obviously
yes.
Tonka, Sophia did some stuff. Like, how many
Oh,
people at
Sophia's
emo did you
great.
tap?
Okay, so yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Uh, there are so many people in the office who had such great voices that it was so much fun to make stuff with them. You already mentioned the majority of the people we work with. Tonka, he is an amazing shoutcaster. Can't say enough good things about Tonka. He was just so much fun to work with in the booth. He's had such a natural way of speaking, and it's so eloquent. I'm sure.
Is
I'm sure he
Tonka
would
in
laugh.
the chat right now? Is he getting
He'll
a
be
big
great.
ego? I'm gonna have to shut that down.
He should.
Nobody likes Tonka.
He's
Nobody.
he's gonna edit this later
Not
and
a.
just cut this bit out.
This is all. It's all it's gonna be. He's gonna start it off with Tonka's the best.
Keaton, I actually got you to do a few things over the days. I think you were in one of those vines as well that we
Was
just
I?
watched. Yeah, you were the guy who wouldn't let somebody join the guild. You said no.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I remember
I was
that now.
always a little jealous. I kept seeing people go in there, and I kept seeing assets being released, and I'm always sitting there, it's like, is my voice terrible? Like, do I sound stupid? Why don't I? Why can't I do more VO? I was always jealous. I'd always see all
But
this stuff with Nick, and like Sophia started getting involved. I was just like, oh, I don't want to. I
you
want.
could have done more if you wanted. See,
Uh
this is the thing. This is the thing. If I noticed that somebody enjoyed it, that makes a good voice. Funny enough, like you can direct someone to be a great voiceover artist if they're interested. If they're
mm,
like nervous and they're like, I don't really want to do this, and like, but I feel like I have to, then your voice like naturally recedes, and you're like you're closed up, and you can never really kind of get there. But people who like are interested, that you can get them there pretty fast.
mm.
Speaking of Nick, Bear Shoes has a lot of interest in voiceover work, and he shared this with me as I kind of like conscripted him to do. I think it was just some random marketing video as just like a narrator at first, because I heard him like walk by me in the office, and he was speaking to a friend, and I'm like, boy, that guy has like a radio voice. That's fantastic. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll just like coax him into the booth, and sure enough, like he was just like, oh yeah, I've actually been interested in that professionally. I was like, oh, well, let's get started then. So that's why I used Nick a number of different times. And Sophia, that was just a real easy, an easy yes. I mean, she is so bubbly and happy, and she has so much positive, like optimism and energy that she brings to any of the takes. It's just a real pleasure to work with, because you hit that tone and voice you want instantly. You don't have to work up to it. You don't have to have her try and like fake being happy or interested in something. You hear it right away. So that was a nice little surprise, because I like, you don't always anticipate amazing voiceover artists just being all around you.
What was the difference between doing the VO for the in game, where you've got the copy that we need to do, you know who the characters are, but they're all based off of the game, versus grabbing something in the office? Did you create the character based off their range, or were you picking people based off of a character's need?
Usually it's a character's need. With in-game stuff, you already have a character that's created, and you also have a Korean voiceover that you're sort of going to be matching based on what the visuals look like. So usually I could tell if Nick was in the right range for a voice, or if somebody internally was. In a lot of cases, I think it was for one of our latest big updates, when the whole north area updated. I can't remember what that update was called now. A bunch of
Exodore?
zones. Exodore, yeah, that whole area. There was a ton of voiceover needed for all of that. So I grabbed the company that I usually used, and just had a bunch of people I knew would fit those parts really well, and a few internal people as well to try and fill in a few parts. But yeah, that was a fun experience. That whole process took about 2.5 weeks to complete, because of all the scheduled actors and composing all the different bits, because for any one character in the game, there's like 40 lines you have to record, and that's 40 files, and then you have to make 4 versions of those 40 files, so it adds up over time.
And that was all done internally, like you
Oh
did.
yeah.
You got the voice recorded, and then we processed it, and eventually we
Mm-hmm.
handed it back to Bluehole so they'd put it in the game.
Yep. Favorite voiceover actor, internal, Bear Shoes. Just fantastic person. I mean, he is in the chat, and I would say the same thing if he wasn't in the chat. Just fantastic person. So fun to work with. And Kitty Cup / Sophia. She's so much energy. Like, it's a riot every time you're in the booth, and it's just it's just so much fun. So getting those ones out right out of the bat, because I mean that I would work with him again in a heartbeat any day. Yes, he does. He has the best voice. Totally agree.
We did a video. We did a couple of videos for Nautic for closers with Sophia. Patch updates. The first one I sent over, I don't even think it was the final. I think it was like just the first version of it. Yeah, I sent it over to them through probably Teams or Slack, and my contact over there immediately came back with, "Do more of those. She is amazing." Like, well, yeah.
That's the unique thing about Sophia's voice. Whether she means to or not, she can hit that kind of like anime, not fangirl. What's the word I'm looking for? Like kawaii, sort of like over the top, like young girl voice without meaning to, and that's absolutely what most Korean developers that we've ever interacted with on a voiceover level, they love that stuff. Like that's what they read as high energy and having lots of fun. And that's what they want to always infuse every single one of their characters with, whether it's an old lady or a young lady. They all want them to have the exact same voice. And so, yeah, like she's the perfect fit for any like anime voiceover gal, because it's just that's her natural voice. That's her natural way of talking. We did amp it up a couple of times just for fun because we thought it was hilarious. But like, yeah, she can get there really easy.
Bear Shoe's other question: least favorite. Was there ever something you worked on, image, asset, voiceover that just never got where you were trying to take it?
I always struggled in knowing what to do with many of the battleground videos for TERA. I don't think PvP ever really got a fair shake. I think the highest point we ever got with quality PvP videos with TERA was when we had Tonka on the stream and he was doing his shoutcasting, and it was like literally just a stream that he was shoutcasting the whole time. That to me felt right. But any of the marketing attempts we tried to do to try and like encapsulate what this battleground would feel like or why it was fun, I don't think we ever really hit the mark with those things, because it was just there's just too much involved in a battleground to try and encapsulate.